with a rhythm like the waves and the beating of the heart. My yarn runs through my fingers day and night, and in between all the things that are called life. Just one more row, and one more, and one more. The soft and peaceful rhythm of the knitting provides opportunities to talk about life in general and knitting in particular. Through the work of our hands, our thoughts, feelings and dreams are manifested, and we make use of the valuable knowledge that has been passed down through generations. Knowing how to knit is like always carrying an invisible treasure. As we knit, we make the treasure visible. When sharing this treasure, it grows. Let's make the world softer and warmer together, stitch by stitch. A warm welcome to Sofia's Tales podcast. My name is Sofia Karlsson, and I am a knitwear designer, photographer, art historian, author and pilgrim from Sweden, but I live in Norway. Scandinavian knitting traditions are close to my heart. I have been knitting since I was a child, and I haven't stopped since. You can find my patterns on RAVELRY and in my book that is currently only available in Swedish. On Patreon, I share additional and exclusive content for my patrons. You can find all the links below. Welcome. Let's start a new episode of this podcast. A warm welcome to episode 19 of Sofia's Tales podcast. In this episode, I will bring you along on my adventures in Switzerland around the Swiss Yarn Festival a couple of weeks ago. And you will meet my friend Isabelle and also my friend Charlotte Stone. And with both these lovely friends, I have filmed some conversations around knitting, friendship and life, and I hope you will enjoy them in this episode. There's two different segments coming up. But first, I want to introduce my new mitten pattern that is now available on RAVELRY, the Gift Mitten. I talked about this mitten in the latest episode, and I also showed you some of my samples. And knitting a pair of mittens to someone you love makes a really beautiful gift, hence the name Gift Mittens. I find it so beautiful to reflect upon these things, that it's not only the wool in the garment itself that warms someone's hands, it's also all the love and effort and the time, the thoughts, the prayers that we put into every single stitch that we knit. And we need to knit all the stitches to finish a pair of mittens. So it's a beautiful gift to give to someone that you care for. And these are some of my samples that I have been knitting. In the pattern you can choose between different cuffs and sizes. And I have knitted a blue pair, a red pair. And the first pair I knitted was for my son, who lives up north in Sweden. And those were in these colors, but the larger size, because he has larger hands than I have. These are my mittens. And I knitted a pair of red ones for him. And then I knitted the brown ones for my husband. And they have both been using these mittens all winter long. And I find it so lovely to now be lending these pair from my husband, because it's spring now, so he doesn't really need them. So I could show them here. And they are a bit felted and winky wonky because they have been used so much during the winter, and he loves them. And I'm so glad I could make him this pair of warm mittens that he has enjoyed wearing. And they have warmed his hands in many ways this winter. And the same goes with the red ones that I knitted for my son in October when he had his birthday. I'm also working on a pair in this beautiful sea glass color. And all the pairs I have been knitting so far are made in Lättlopi, a worsted weight yarn, sometimes called Aran weight, but it's 200 meters per 100 grams. So I would mostly call it a worsted weight yarn, and you can find different yarn alternatives to fit your needs for this mitten. The Gift Mitten is knitted in 2 colors using a worsted weight yarn. It is well suited as a first colorwork project with a short repetitive pattern that make the knitting both rhythmic and easy to follow without long floats. The pattern can also be appreciated by more experienced knitters, and the combination of colorwork and wool yarn creates a warm and durable garment, with the thumb gusset contributing to a good fit. The design is unisex and available in 2 adult sizes. The Latvian braids and the corrugated ribbing make the cuff a beautiful detail. But if they feel complicated to knit, a simple ribbed cuff works just as well. Giving and receiving gifts is a deeply human act. Through a gift, we show care and express things that are sometimes difficult to put into words. But receiving a gift with openness and gratitude is just as meaningful as giving. It is a way of honoring the giver, of allowing their care to take up space and be seen. I am also working on my poppy vest that I showed you in the latest episode, and I'm almost finished now for cutting the sticks, but I have a bit of a debacle here because my gauge is not the same as in the pattern, as I'm not using the original yarn. It's a Jameson yarn that you're supposed to use, but I took Rauma Finull from my treasure chest that I had, that I already had. So I love the colors and I love how it's turning out, and it's a bit scary when you can't try it on before you have cut the sticks open, but I think I will finish it in time for my trip to Scotland at the end of April. So I hope I can wear it on that spring trip. And something else that I want to finish before going to Scotland is a pair of socks that I started to knit last spring when I was traveling in Switzerland and Italy with my dear friend Sarah, Root of the Tree, because it was her birthday and I know how she loves swans. She was so excited when she saw the swans when she was visiting me in Sweden once. And our mutual friend Charlotte Stone has designed this beautiful pair of swan socks. So I started to knit them last spring to give them to Sarah for her birthday, but I didn't manage to finish them in time before we went home to our different countries. And then I just put them in my UFO unfinished object drawer, where I have lots of small parcels with different unfinished objects. And now I feel like I need to make them finished before this trip, because I'm going to Scotland with Sarah, and it has recently been her birthday again. So I really want to give her the swan socks. And they are the pattern. You can find it in one of Charlotte's books. She has come out with 2 lovely charming colorwork socks is the name of the one book, and the other is called Joyful Colorwork Socks. And this autumn she will be releasing her third colorwork sock book, which is so exciting. And yeah, maybe it's time for you to meet Charlotte and listen to our small conversation we had in Switzerland a couple of weeks ago. Charlotte and I have been friends for many years now, and she was also attending to our wedding a couple of years ago. Last year we met both in Switzerland in March and in Germany in August. This spring we were both teaching at Swiss Yarn Festival. I'm so glad to be sitting here with my dear friend Charlotte Stone Knits, whom I've known since forever, it feels like. But
it does feel like forever.
Yeah, but I guess it isn't.
No, well, we couldn't remember, could we? We couldn't remember when.
No, we first met.
Yeah.
On Instagram, probably.
Yeah.
But then we have seen each other many times in the so-called reality.
Yes. I think
like you were a bridesmaid at my wedding.
I was a bridesmaid.
You were my backup girl.
I was your backup girl.
Yes.
I was, and I helped you with your speech. Do you remember?
Yes.
I said it in English.
Yes. I said everything in Swedish and you said it in English because I love Charlotte's accent. And I love you and your design.
I love you and your designs.
Yeah.
Too.
And it was so lovely when I got married and you stayed for a couple of days and we were out
it was so lovely.
by the sea.
And I got to swim in the sea where you swim.
Yes.
And I felt like such a fangirl because I love watching your podcast. And I know
thank you.
You like swimming in the sea.
Yes.
And then I got to swim in the sea too. So I was like, this is...
Yeah, and I got to swim with you.
It was so fun.
And then we were knitting and we found some mushrooms.
We did. We found toadstools.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, I do. And I have knitted your toadstool socks.
You have.
Yes. And I've knitted many of your patterns actually.
And I've knitted many of your patterns too. So
I know once, I think the first time we met in reality was in Norway.
Yes.
Outside Trondheim.
2020, just before
everything
locked down.
Yes. And I remember you came up to me and you showed me that you were wearing my...
Longing for Gotland.
Yes.
Socks.
And I was wearing your toadstool socks, I think.
You were.
Yeah.
You were. I remember, and I remember when we first met, we met in a cafe.
Yes.
And I was so excited to meet you. And I didn't know you at all. And I came up to you and I was like, what are you going to order? And you ordered mushroom soup to go with your...
I don't remember that. But I remember you.
Yes. So then I was like, okay, I'm having mushroom soup too.
Yeah. And now we are at Swiss Yarn Festival.
We are. We're both
close
teaching.
To where you live.
Yes.
In Zurich.
Just 30 minutes away. So lovely to have you here.
We were both here last year as well. And you've been here for many years. But,
yeah.
For me, this is the second time and it's lovely to be back and it's so lovely to see you, but we have had a hard time to find some space in between all our work because
we have.
I mean, it's lovely to have this as our job, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
But also sometimes I think it's hard for people outside to understand how much work it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we just meet people and do our things and talks and...
Yes.
We're teaching and it's wonderful. It's lovely.
It is wonderful. It does take a lot of energy as well.
But we were checking our schedules. And,
I know.
And now we have this little space and we wanted to
had an hour and a half.
So we're doing this little recording for you because it feels nice to share this loveliness.
Definitely.
And then we will have some alone time.
Yes.
Before going into the lovely crowd as well.
Definitely.
And then sleep like stones tonight, I guess.
Always.
Yes.
Always.
But can you tell me a bit about how did you start to design socks?
So, I was knitting plain stockinette socks, probably, I reckon, for about 11 or 12 years now. But I'm going to be honest, I became a huge fan of yours and I was watching your podcast and I'm fans of Arnie and Carlos too, and that's how I kind of discovered like colour work and they knit a lot of things like sweaters and hats and jumpers, but you came out with Longing for Gotland socks, and I've been hiding them here. I was absolutely obsessed. And the thing is, with normal one colour socks, I can get quite bored. But so I started knitting this, and I didn't have any clue how I was supposed to be knitting it, but I just went and started knitting it from your pattern, Longing for Gotland. And it was like you had ignited some light fire in my head. And I was absolutely obsessed with the colour work. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is so much more fun than a plain sock. And so, I started off with Longing for Gotland. I think my first pattern I ever knit of yours, though, was the Shine Mittens.
Okay.
But I'm not very good at following rules, and I knit them on the wrong yarn and got the wrong gauge. So they were fingering weight with pink sparkly yarn, and they were too small for my hand. So I did give them to my daughter, who absolutely adored them. So, yeah. So thank you.
Oh,
thank you very much for...
Thank you for telling me. I get so touched. And imagine how many people you inspire now with your design.
Oh,
you're about to publish your third book
now. Yeah.
And they are all colorwork socks.
All colorwork socks. And this one, there's even a chapter this time for baby and toddler.
Oh, how lovely.
So I thought that would be fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that should be... I'm looking forward to that coming out. It's all new designs, so...
And you're teaching here at the Swiss Yarn Festival.
I am.
Are you teaching different designs of yours? Or?
Yes. So I taught Crunch and Carrots, and that's like a beginner pattern. And then tomorrow I will be teaching Herding Cows.
Oh.
That one's a bit more difficult. I seem to be going wild with 3 colours in one round.
Yes.
But I live in Switzerland. I have to, of course, embrace cows.
Of course.
So that's more of an advanced sock workshop. So,
do you have a favorite among your own patterns?
Oh my God, no! It'd be like the favorite of my children.
Exactly.
But you're teaching what?
I'm teaching the Latvian braid.
Yes.
And
you taught me that.
And ladderback jacquard.
Yeah, perfect.
And also color work.
Yes. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
And the ladderback jacquard is a very fascinating technique, but I don't always catch my floats.
Nor do I.
Or I almost never. And I remember when I was talking to you many years ago, asking you, how do you do? And you were also not catching your floats.
No, because it makes it so much more
Charlotte
elastic.
doesn't catch a float. I don't have to do it either. No. So I seldom do that. But
I know.
But the ladderback technique is good if you don't want to be as crazy as we are.
Exactly.
Or if you have even longer floats.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it opens a world of
It really
design.
does. And it doesn't, I find it doesn't muck up the fabric of the sock. It makes it still elastic. And it's not,
so
you
you
can't
have
see
tried it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only the past year I've started getting into it.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. Now you don't have to be so wild as ourselves, and you can catch your floats.
But when is your third book coming?
So it's coming out October the 13th, they say. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Because it gets printed in China, and it has to come across on a boat to America. So I'm like, when that happens, it takes 2 months.
Okay.
So
but that's a perfect season for a sock book to come
It's
out.
October.
Yes, it's October. Exactly.
Exactly.
So.
Hopefully, I hope it will arrive on time. And,
yes.
And then people can have it as well for Christmas presents.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I have both of your books that have come out so far, and I love them, of course.
I have yours as well.
Yeah. Mine is currently still only in Swedish, but I'm still hoping for...
I think we can, I can see your charts, and I can,
Yes. But you have this lovely sock box, or the sock drawer.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a drawer.
Yes.
From my desk.
Should we hold it up?
It's
like this.
So yeah, that's just a selection of some of my socks. But you see, it's hand painted at the front.
Lovely.
That's actually from my desk.
It's so beautiful.
But my husband found that desk. It was like discarded at the bottom of someone's cellar.
Okay.
And he was like, my wife would like that.
This is perfect. And it's so inspiring and so playful.
Yes. Yeah, I love colourful things.
Yes.
I do.
So I'm wondering what pattern I'm going to knit next of yours.
Yeah.
Because I love to stick in between my own patterns and knit some of your socks. I'm currently working on the swan socks. What do you call them? The Swan Lake
socks.
I'm making them for Sarah, root of the tree, because she loves swans. And actually, I was making them last spring, but I only managed to finish one sock.
That's okay. I always say it's not a marathon. You know.
I know.
It's okay.
I'm taking it easy, but I'm meeting her in April now.
So now you have a deadline.
Yes, I need to finish them.
Yeah, I think it's good to knit other patterns, not just our own.
It is.
Now and then to have like a break and to experience like
I
just
feel
joy.
It's joyous and it's humbling and it's you learn things.
Exactly.
And it's also more relaxing.
And you're knitting the poppy vest.
Yes.
As well. And I really, really want to knit that.
I love that
too. Yeah, your version
we
is
could
gorgeous.
be twins.
Yes. That'd be so fun.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for showing your socks, and now we'll have some time on our own before joining the crowd.
Back into the crowd.
Yes. And thank you for tuning in with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want to thank you so much for all your support, for all your lovely comments, questions, and for everyone tuning in here to my channel, Sophia's Tales podcast. I do my best to share some inspiration and thoughts around knitting and my life. And I really want to be personal, but not too private. And on my Patreon account, patreon.com/Sophia's Tales, I feel like I can be a bit more personal. It's such a lovely community there, and I am grateful every day for all of your support. And for those of you who don't know what Patreon is, it's a page where I share blog posts, recipes, sometimes tutorials and patterns, and also live streams. And I have done quite a lot of small films and sometimes extra bonus podcasts that I call vlogs that I share with my patrons. And a Patreon is a page where you can support your favorite creators that you like to support financially for a sum of your choice on a monthly basis. And as a thank you, you receive some bonus materials. And all the bonus materials on my Patreon page is there as a huge library for you to dig into when you become a patron. And well, I'm so glad for all of you tuning in there. And for me, it's so important to, in all my channels, both here on YouTube and on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Patreon, to be genuine and to be myself. And I think many of us at the moment are kind of tired of all the AI, artificial intelligence stuff that is taking so much space everywhere. And I want you to know that I feel a bit tired of that. And how should I say? Maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned, but I want to make my texts and my talks and my pictures and everything myself. So I don't use those things. And I mean, it's up to everyone to do whatever you want to. But for me, it's so important to be myself, to be genuine in what I want to say. And sometimes maybe it's not that polished, but I, I at least do it myself. And I just wanted you to know that I'm grateful for you supporting my creative endeavors. And now I want to take you to Switzerland again to meet my friend Isabelle that I shared some lovely days together with before the Swiss Yarn Festival. We went hiking and we knitted a lot and had lovely conversations. And yeah, it's time for you to meet my friend Isabelle. The week before Swiss Yarn Festival, I visited my friend Isabelle. We went hiking in the Alps. We took a swim in the thermal baths. We had lots of lovely food and we knitted together in the evenings in front of her fireplace. Isabelle is such a talented knitter, and I'm so glad she wanted to share some knitting stories with you. Hello, Isabelle.
Hi, Sophia.
It's so lovely to be here.
It's so wonderful to have you.
And I'm even here for a couple of days, so we managed to have time to sit down and record this. I'm so happy.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful that my knitting brings me to so many lovely places and I get to meet so many wonderful people, and some of them become my close friends, like Isabelle, for example. We have met in Edinburgh, in Oslo, in Norway.
Indeed.
And now I'm staying with you a couple of days before the Swiss Yarn Festival. And I'm so happy for all the adventures we've been to. And also looking forward to more in the future.
Wonderful.
And we have been talking a lot and knitting and doing other things. And we have been talking about stories around our knitting and things that... garments that carry stories in our lives. Mm-hmm. So you have some stories here.
Yes,
in
I do.
Your hand knits.
What would you like me to start with?
Maybe the sweater.
The sweater? Right.
Should we hold it up?
Yes. So this is, well, perhaps I should say that I learned to knit with my mother, who had learned to knit with her mother, my grandmother, who used to teach the blind to knit. So we knit English style because my mother was English. And she was an absolutely wonderful knitter. She was a very patient knitter. Nothing was too complicated for her. And she knitted this amazing jumper for me. And when I had it, I didn't really realize what this meant, because it says, "When this you see, remember me." But of course, now that she's not here anymore, anytime I take it out and wear it, I realize exactly what it means. And about a year ago also, I decided I wanted to find out where the pattern came from, because I couldn't find the pattern in the things that she had left. So I, thanks to Google, thanks to internet, I actually managed to find the book that presumably this pattern came from, or at least it appears in this book, because it has a label
Yes.
in it with the name of the designer. Otherwise, I never would have found it. And I did actually find the book secondhand. It's actually a library book, ex-library book, and it has this pattern in it, as well as some other really, really beautiful designs in. I mean, I'm just opening any random page, but it is full of these lovely 1980s
So
designs.
inspiring.
So,
Maybe not the hairdos, but but all the knitwear is so inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So I was very happy.
Yes.
And I'm intending knitting one out of there.
And my ears teared up when you told me the story about your mom. It's so so beautiful and
Yes.
such a
Yes.
meaningful
That's
story.
Wonderful to remember.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And we are sitting here in
Yes.
our sweaters SKOGAFJALL by Diana Walla, Paper Tiger Knits, a dear friend who lives in, another knitting friend who lives in Trondheim in Norway, just like I do, but I live in Oslo now. And you have chosen to knit it in 2 colors.
Yes,
in a lovely
plain.
tweed yarn.
From that I bought it when we went to Ireland. So
Oh.
it's come directly from the mill in
Wonderful. And I wanted to wear this when I came here because the name SKOGAFJALL means the woods and the mountains. And I knitted this for my pilgrimage, and now we have been hiking here in
the woods and the mountains.
So I wanted to bring it, and I didn't know that you had
No.
also had a SKOGAFJALL, but that's what knitting friends are for.
Yes, indeed.
And so, yeah, that's another beautiful story. And this morning I came down and I had my, it's my own pattern, a pair of socks that are called Heart of the Forest socks. And when I came into the kitchen, you were also wearing
the same ones.
the same pattern. That's so fun. Yes.
So we're double twins today.
Yes. And you have some other stories here?
Yes, lots of stories. My favorite hat, I should put it on.
Oh,
really.
yes.
Which was a mystery knit of SOFIA'S, and I wear it most winters, and I was wearing it all the time I was in Norway January of last year. We went to the Lofoten Islands, and we met up with Sophia. We went out together for a meal outside in a very special place in Oslo called Salt. And when I got home, I realized that I no longer had my hat. And I said, "Oh, Sophia, I think I've lost my hat." And Sophia very kindly went back to Salt and said, have you by any chance, when you better pick up the story from
Yeah.
there.
I went back to the restaurant, it was also so nice that evening because you were actually showing me and my husband this restaurant, because you had been more in Oslo than we had by that
By
time.
then, yes.
We had just moved there like 2 weeks earlier. And so we met at this restaurant and the hat was lost and you were back in Switzerland. So I went to the restaurant and asked if they had seen a hat and tried to describe it. And the woman at the restaurant went and fetched a big box. And she was asking, is it this hat? Is it this hat? And I think she showed me 10 different, wonderful, beautiful hand-knit hats, and it wasn't one of them. And then eventually it came.
It was.
Yes, there it was. So if you have lost a hat at Salt in Oslo, maybe
You may find
they
it.
have kept it. So, and as it's not always very easy to send things by mail, it can take such a long time. I was soon going to the Swiss Yarn Festival, so I brought it,
Exactly.
and you got it back.
Yes, I've got my dear hat back.
Yeah.
Yes, and then my other story is, these are some of my absolute favorite things. This is the
Roses are red mittens.
the absolutely gorgeous mitten pattern. And then I also decided I wanted matching leg warmers. So I turned the pattern into leg warmers.
That's great.
And also they match a dress that I have. So it was all very convenient. And then a couple of years ago, walking up on the ski resort just above us in the snow, I lost a mitten, realized halfway there, came all the way back down, went all the way back up, did the whole walk all over again, looking for this mitten, never found it. So I have been mourning my mitten ever since. But since Sophia was here, I said, now this is the time I need to go and find a skein of wool to knit a second one. It'll never be the same exactly, but at least I'll have a second mitten. So we both went to the local yarn shop, Tricoton, together, and found a skein of rowan wool that will...
It's beautiful, and I love it that it's not the same,
Yes.
but it's matching.
Yeah.
So it's gonna tell a story.
It'll tell the
about
story.
the lost mitten and
Indeed.
how much you loved it, and then you made a new one.
So there we are.
And
That's
I told you that I knitted a pair of mittens for my husband when we met, and he lost one of them, and he was so sad. And so there's only one left, and I think that's a couple of years ago now. And my ambition has been to get some new yarn, because I know what yarn it is. It's Rauma Finull, and the colors are still there in
That's
the store.
easy.
So maybe even in my treasure chest at home. So I will, inspired by you, go home and knit the second mitten.
Wonderful. We'll see who knits the second mitten first.
Yeah, maybe we should have that as a knit along. The second mitten knit along.
Mitten.
Maybe someone else wants to join.
I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure we're not unique in having lost a mitten.
Yeah. And I think it's beautiful to take care of the items we already have.
And I agree.
Because we tend to knit new things and test new patterns, and that's also lovely. But we also need to care about the clothes and the garments we already have.
Yes. Talking about that, I should maybe mention that this must have been knitted. This jumper that my mother, dearest mother, knitted, must have been knitted in the 80s. So it is, it's quite old. And it has survived well.
Such quality.
Yes, indeed.
And it was lying behind or beside a sweater that you have knitted yesterday evening, and I was looking, and from my point of view, it looked like you had exactly the same gauge.
Yes, that's true. Yes, I
and
think we
was
probably
also
did. Yeah,
very
yes, because we
sweet.
could, when we were knitting together, if I, as a teenager does, didn't finish, my mum would finish for me, and it was.
And
the
you
same.
couldn't see where.
So that's right enough.
And today we have been to a salt mine. Such an adventure, and so interesting to learn how we get the salt on the table.
Yes, from a mine inside the mountains here.
Yes. And we got to taste bread with no salt in it to know how important it is
Salt is.
To have salt. And then in the afternoon we went to a thermal bath.
Yes, because we do have thermal hot springs in the area as well.
And it was snow in the air, and the warm springs, and absolutely lovely.
The snow was not it was not intended.
No.
I had no idea we would have snow at the end of March when you came.
But it's beautiful.
Made for another adventure.
And the first morning was sunny, and I could enjoy the Alps.
The mountains around.
Yes. So we're quite tired and hungry now.
Very hungry.
And what are we having for dinner?
Oh, we're having a type of fondue that is most specifically made locally here, or at least in the valley, just across the valley from us, which is tomato fondue. So it's melted cheese with tomato and potatoes.
Sounds lovely.
Looking forward to it.
Yes. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.
Bye.
This is the mitten I knitted for my husband that is now all alone, and I need to make a second mitten to match this one. It's my pattern Lykta, that means lantern, and it comes in 2 sizes. The pattern is available on Ravelry.
On Patreon, I have shared a little film that I made from the trip I took earlier this spring to Lillehammer, to the Maihaugen Museum with my friend Caroline. And I talked a bit about that in the last episode, and also said that there would be some bonus material for patrons. And now that little film is up on my Patreon page. And it's about the jakten på häckneväven, or the hunt for the häckne weave, about women's handicraft and storytelling, history, and it's just a wonderful exhibition, a wonderful place, and we had the most lovely day, me and Caroline. And we also got to meet Lars Mytting, the author of the books I've been talking a bit about in this podcast. And I've heard that so many of you have started to read them, and it really brings me joy to hear that you also enjoy these novels, because they are translated into many languages, into German and English, Swedish, whatever. I have the Norwegian ones because it makes me exercise my Norwegian skills to read novels in Norwegian, as Swedish is my first language, but I live in Norway and I want to learn more about Norwegian culture and language and so on. And the first book is called Søsterklokkerna, or The Bell in the Lake in English. The second book is called The Reindeer Hunters in English and Häckneväven in Swedish or Norwegian. And the third is called Skråpånatta in Norwegian, and I don't remember the English name right now. But anyway, we got to meet the author of these amazing books at that day in Maihaugen that I have shared a small extra bonus film on Patreon about. And I think that Lars Mytting in these books, he uses women's handicraft in the most fascinating way in his stories. He can really tell a story where he uses a knitted garment, a weave made by women's hands, and how the threads can carry a story. For example, there's a small baby cardigan in one of the books that reveals the truth in the most exquisite way that only our hand-knitted stitches can do. And I think it's so beautiful that all the stitches that we are making are carrying so much life, so much love, and so many stories. And all the things that we are knitting will keep on carrying our stories in different ways for, I think, longer than we will be around. And that's also very fascinating. Anyway, now I want to bring you along to Switzerland once again and share a segment from the Swiss Yarn Festival. And again, on my Patreon, there is even more material from the festival. But here comes a small segment for you from the Swiss Yarn Festival. The Swiss Yarn Festival is such a friendly, cozy and lovely festival outside Zurich. This year was the second time I was there teaching, and it was a joy to be back. I met a lot of old and new friends, and I was so touched to meet so many participants for my classes where I taught the Latvian braid, ladder-back jacquard and color work for beginners. Some had traveled from other countries just to attend to my class, and it was a true joy to meet. My work is quite lonely sometimes, but when attending to festivals like this, I get compensated for that loneliness. I like both parts of my job very much, and I work hard to find the balance.
And we say the way, and someday we'll meet again in dreams left on the moon.
After intense working days at the festival, I had so much fun with some close knitting friends in Zurich before I went home to rest. We did not mind at all that it was raining. We walked around dressed in wool, and we went into cafes where we had tea and hot chocolate, and we sat there knitting and chatting. Friends are really like a chosen family, and it's wonderful to spend time together like this. None of us live in the country we were born, and we feel at home both here and there. And we have found each other through the soft yet strong woolen threads. Isn't it amazing how the yarn can be so powerful and strong that it can bring people together? It can build bridges and cross borders. I am so grateful for my wool family of friends. At the festival this year, I found a new friend in Melanie Berg, a talented designer but also a lovely person and the editor of the book Knit for Power. Last year I got this book from my friend Andrea when attending her daughter Madeleine's wedding in Germany. It's that kind of book that I wish I had come up with the idea for. It tells stories about how knitting and friendship through knitting can help us through tough times in life, how the yarn can help us through our healing processes. Melanie has initiated so many great projects, like for example the Umarmungstuch, a cooperation with Mamma Sone, the shawl we can all knit together to warm women with breast cancer. At the Swiss Yarn Festival you could leave a small pink triangle and they will all become parts of shawls to hand out to women in need of love and warmth. You can find more information on Melanie's website and I will put in a link below. When my best friend was ill in breast cancer, I knitted her a shawl that became the Together shawl. I have always enjoyed knitting for the people I love. There is something beautiful about putting so much work into something you are giving away. A knitted shawl, for example, it consists of thousands of stitches connected together. And before the shawl is complete, I must knit every little stitch. There is no way around it. After it is finished, it's nice to think that all those little stitches, like the wool within, are providing warmth for the person I love and wish to share the shawl with. Together is about being stronger together, weak together, and that life is about both. It's about friendship, love, and how we can carry each other. I knitted the Together shawl for a friend who was in need of feeling the warmth and the strength of my love. The stitches linked together makes a web like the woven web of our lives. With the shawl, we can wrap ourselves in the love from a friend and be together even when we are apart, tested by life's challenges. Together with my friend, I wanted to laugh, to dance, to cry, and be together in this life that has been given to us. I wanted to knit a shawl as warm and beautiful as our friendship. My dear friend did not make it, and I miss her every day, grateful for all that we shared. The shawl is still worn by her daughter, and all the stitches carry so much love and memories. I also knitted a shawl for me, and it carries so much of the love I shared with her. If we take care of each other, cherish our friendships, and love each other unconditionally, we will endure the obstacles and hardships better, and better enjoy all of life's beauty together with each other. In episode 1 of my podcast, I talk about my Lent blanket with Madeleine when she was visiting us around our wedding. The Lent blanket is full of love and prayers in every stitch. The pattern is free for all my patrons. It was so lovely to get to know Melanie, who is using her creativity in a similar way as I do. I brought home so many fond memories from the Swiss Yarn Festival. Take care and continue to knit. Remember that the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. Thank you so much for watching and a warm welcome back. If you want more inspiration and content, behind the scenes footage and special offers, you are most welcome to support my creative work on patreon.com/SOFIA'S Tales. Here you'll find
behind the scenes snippets from my travels and my home. I share recipes, tutorials, reflections and pictures. My patterns are available on Ravelry from a link below. You can also find me on Instagram as Sofia's Tales and on Facebook as Sofia's Tales, as well as in the Facebook group Sofia's Tales Knit Along, where we knit my patterns and help and inspire each other. Thank you so much for watching and a warm welcome back to my channel.